Can you hear me all right, everybody? A couple things I need you to do before I start my talk. Number one, if you still have your pad of paper and pen, you have the next 10 seconds to write down one word, and that word is how you feel right now. 8, 7, 6, 5. I'll give you a few more seconds. Don't think about it, just write it down. How do you feel right now? Everybody got it? Written down? Happiness, sadness, glorified. All right, now, number 2, I want you to stand up. We're going to move, because I do that fitness thing, you know. So make some room. Now what we're going to do is we're going to split this room in half. Right down the middle. The folks in the middle are going to have to choose one of 2 words. This side, live. That side, life. Are you ready? When I point to your side, you have to call out your word nice and loud. Live. Was that loud enough? Now start hopping. Start hopping. You know, if you can't hop, if that's physically hard for you, don't do it. Now, you got to put your arms in the air right here. Now you're going to keep your arms in the air, and I'm going to point to you as you keep moving. Keep going. Now we're going to count down. Are you ready? 10, 9, 8. Let me hear you. Come on. A little bit louder. Uh-huh. Let's go. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. That's good. You can sit. So now, pick up your pad and pen again and write your new word. How do you feel now? I'll give you 30 seconds for that. So while you're writing that down, let me tell you a thing or two about a thing or two. I'm 54 years old. Feel pretty good. I was the C- student. Student? What happened there? I was a C- student who had a speech impediment, who was, my ambition actually when I was a young child was to have ambition. Procrastination was my favorite thing to do in the world. My middle initial is S. I thought it meant scared, because that's how I spent probably the first 30 plus years of my life. You got your words down? Yeah. So, here are the 6 things that I figured out in the course of 30 years of training other people and training myself. So the goal here is to be fit and healthy and flexible for the rest of your lives. Sound good? Who would like that? Raise your hand. Who would like to be strong? Just strong. Flexible. Who would like to be less vulnerable to illness and injury as you move through life? Who here has parents or grandparents with health issues? Raise your hand. Those folks had sex, they made you. Guess what? You're going to have their problems unless you do something different. So these are the 6 things. You like that? You like that? It's all true. Look at Jack LaLanne. Jack LaLanne died at 96. His father died at 50. So he outlived his father by half a century because he did things very different than his father. So here are the 6 things that I've done in the course of the last 30 years that have allowed me to create and develop and sell the #1 fitness product in the world, not because I'm the smartest guy in the world, because I move physically. And here's what happens. Here's what happened to everybody in the room as a result of that little fun game that we played. Number 1, you release norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, and something known as brain-derived neurotropic factor. So those are chemicals that your pharmacist will give you to make you feel good temporarily, because dopamine, serotonin, brain-derived neurotropic factor are the things that affect the temporal lobe, that affect this little area inside the hippocampus called the dentate gyrus. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Everyone gets an A+. So inside the dentate gyrus, as a result of just moving, I don't care how you do it, any way you want. You can take Pilates, yoga, weightlifting, run a half marathon. There was a 5K and a 10K right here in Santa Monica this morning. A bunch of folks got up at 6 o'clock, rubbed out their eyes, and went out there and run. Beautiful thing. And every one of them released norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, and BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is molecules and proteins sitting inside that tiny dentate gyrus, waiting, hoping, dreaming, wishing that you would move. And when you do, for 20 minutes or more a day, we kind of activated it here a little bit, but for just 20 minutes or more a day, these proteins and molecules come together inside of your noggin, inside your dentate gyrus, and something called neurogenesis occurs. You get to create brand new cells inside of your brain, and that changes everything about who you are, not just physically. It's not necessarily about this. That's just for the girls and a couple of the guys, no big deal. You know? So, number one, if you understand the importance of exercise and eating right, the first law is variety. So if you're on that cardio kick or you go to Pilates or yoga, you need to start moving weights. You need to start doing push-ups and pull-ups. The more you do, the better you get, the faster your results, and the less likely you'll get hurt, you'll get bored, or you'll plateau. You'll always continue to grow. You'll always continue to get better. I don't care how old you are. At 54 years old, I can do things physically at my age that I couldn't do at 14. I couldn't do at 24. I couldn't do at 34 or 44. Today, I had to leave early after the sound check because I had a 2.5-hour gymnastics workout to do at my house with some friends that are all in their 20s. And I kicked their ass. All right. Fun, right? So when you have variety in your fitness, get out of that rut of doing the same thing over and over and over again and mix it up, and you will see amazing results in a shorter period of time. Number two, what is number two? I forgot. My dentate gyrus is broken. Consistency, which means you have to exercise 5 to 7 days a week for the rest of your life. Because if you don't, you're going to end up with something known as what I call exercise bipolar disorder. Right, you've released the norepinephrine, all these beautiful things, and you take 2 or 3 days off. What happens? I don't really want to work out anymore. I don't feel very good. Exercise sucks. I'm not right. But exercise should be like brushing your teeth or eating your meals or showing up to appointments or making sure you go to bed at night. It should be part of who you are. 5 to 7 days a week for the rest of your life. Number 3, intensity. You have to always up the ante. If you run 5K, start running 10s. If you run 10s, run half marathons. Half marathons lead to marathons, which lead to ultra marathons. If you want to start hiking, you'll hike a hill, and in 3 years from now, you're on an expedition with your own Sherpa going up Mount Everest. That's how you grow. Now, 14, 24, 34. I have 1 minute and 4 seconds. I couldn't do anything physically, but because I kept pushing the envelope, I kept tracking my progress, I would step a little higher, lunge a little deeper, add an extra pull-up, you name it, that was the key. Variety, intensity, consistency. Number 1 is purpose. Stop eating food filled with salt, sugar, and chemicals with the hope that you're going to look smaller in the future, so you'll be at a wedding in front of a bunch of people in a dress. Come Monday, they don't even know what, they don't even care. Doesn't really matter. So it's not about your appearance. It's about quality of life, having experiences, being able to live life. That's what it's about. Right, so forget about the look like and make it more about the can do. Because when you can do more, you have more experiences, and when you're overweight, you're overwhelmed and you can't. All right, now, of course, food. Food is everything. You are what you eat. That's why Jack LaLanne lived and to be 96 years old. It's because when you eat crap, you feel like crap, correct? So it's got to be fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. You have to eat like your great-great-grandparents used to eat. If it comes from the ground or a bush or a tree, or it's crawling around in your backyard and you cut off its head and you throw it on the grill, boom, you're good. Does it have to be vegan? Maybe. Does it have to be flexitarian? Okay. Paleolithic? That's the latest thing. That's the grooviest thing. I don't care. I look down at my plate and I eat things I can pronounce. Blueberries, strawberries, kale, spinach, chicken, whatever. So more of that every once in a while because you've earned it, because you're working out 6 days a week and you're hanging out with like-minded people and you're doing the right thing. Then eat your key lime pie for dessert. I like chocolate chip cookies. I eat them too, but my main caloric meals of the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, are clean, wholesome, healthy foods, period, every time. And I start cheating after dinner. You know, I'll have the chocolate chip cookies or the chocolate-covered almonds or the key lime pie or the tiramisu. Anyway, you get the point. So the purpose here is to be able to combine exercise, which is fitness, food, which is health, put those two things together, and everybody stand up. Here we go. Start hopping. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Arms up. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, everybody.